So another episode of Pornhub. Welcome back.
Pornhub, come down.
Hey man, it's been a rough couple of weeks. Leave me alone. So we're how you guys doing?
Good.
Cool.
Another day, man. Another day to live.
So we finally got Adrian back, our sound guy.
If it sounds better, it's because of him.
Because of him, if it sounds bad, last week it was definitely because of him. should have been here, cabrón. And we got a good friend of ours, a special guest right here, Armando. What's your last name, brother?
Oh man, I hate I'm shy. Just keep calling me Tata.
Armando alias el Tata, as we know him. But Mondo's geez, man, we're helicopter mechanic. Was it beer extraordinaire? Comic book enthusiast. What else, brother? What am I missing? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I like collecting and selling comic books. Was in the Army for 8 years. Worked on helicopters. I also am a truck driver, and I do which explains the
Let's leave that at that.
So you're the jack of all trades.
Master of all, jack of none.
There you go. Dang, the Army?
Yeah.
Dude, but it's no, I'll tell you what though, man. He's a very knowledgeable dude. I told him one time because I met him when we were working at Nordstrom. As a matter of fact, he came after me, right?
Yeah.
So I met him at Nordstrom, and it's funny because we started talking. I think it was the first day we started talking to it, and he was just telling story after story after story. Needless to say, we didn't get shit done that day. but it was cool because we were walking out at the end of the day, and I was amazed, man, like how much this guy had to say, and so the stories were great, dude. And so at some point, I actually told him, you should be writing a goddamn book, dude. You should be writing a book. You got so many stories.
Which I'm working on, believe it or not.
Hell yeah, bro. Because I'm telling you, I would totally read that book, man. You got so much to say. But when we walked out, I told him flat out, dude, you know what? I could totally just freaking sit there and hear you talk, man. Like, you have so much knowledge.
Thanks.
And as we went on, as I got to know him, there's one thing that he told me that it really got me to my core, man. Because he said, I told him, how the hell do you know so much? Because literally, anything I've spoke to him about, he's got some knowledge about. And he said, you have to know a little bit about everything. So you always have something to talk about. And this is it, man. I mean, I consider this guy, Tata, is it's like a brother to me, man. I always appreciated knowing you. It's been a freaking pleasure and honor. And I got to say that you got to stop. You got to quit that shit, man. It gets expensive. But
Crying, bro.
I know.
But Tata over here, man, he's the whole reason why I wanted to do the podcast thing. He's like the main guy because we were talking about it, and I told him one day, you know what, we should do a podcast, man. And he sure said, just do it, and kind of, I'll be there, fucking liar, but he's here now, so that counts.
Yeah, and I used to have my own podcast when I used to have a comic book reporting podcast, and I would do interviews and stuff at the cons and talk to a lot of artists. So it used to be a lot of fun. So that's why I got into podcasting.
You still have that going on, or
no? My wife had to go back to work, and taking care of the kids, and then taking the kids to school, making lunches, and then going to work.
So life happened.
That's it, man.
Hey, I heard you're also a photographer.
Yeah, I have
What?
done photography. I use a Panasonic GH5. That's the camera that I have now.
Oh, wow.
Yep, that's a good one. Yep,
But what a
Oh,
trip.
you said Nikon.
Hey, you know what?
that's true though. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, la chingada. Don't start. Don't say it.
Hey, all I'm going to say about photography is it's all about the glass and all about whatever you want to take a picture of. Whatever interests you, if you can make it interesting, someone out there will like your work.
That is true.
They
That is
perfectly
so
said
true
it.
right there.
Give him another soda. At least you didn't say Nikon, bro. That shit drives me nuts.
¿No quieres coffee?
un pancito o algo.
Pan dulce. Oh, well, hey, speaking of that, your podcast and your YouTube channel were called Café con Leche Nerds.
Yes.
That was a dope ass name, dude. That was
So-
a dope ass name. As a matter of fact, can we use it?
Yeah, you can have it because I don't use it anymore. The way we got to use that name...
Just sign here.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about it, and Latinos we come in different colors, right? We go from black to blonde-haired and blue-eyed.
Yes, sir.
And
Not me, though.
Yeah, and it's like every shade in between. And we also have something in Mexico called La Merienda, where people at night after dinner and they sit around and have coffee and tea and eat pan dulce. And then they talk about what went on in the day, all the important things that bring a family together and things that allow you to interact with your children and find out what's going on with them. So that's really important. So that's why I selected the name for that.
I freaking love that, dude. I love that. That's actually, dude. Again, like it's just all that knowledge that comes back and just, dude, you got so much. But tell me, comic books, man. Because that's really when I think Tata, dude. I'm thinking comic books. I'm thinking Marvel, DC, and you're a big fan of Zatanna, right?
Oh, Zatanna is one of my favorite characters. I love her dad, Zatara, and I love the relationship that they have. And when Zatara comes out on the second half of the book of Action Comics #1, which is Superman's first appearance. So that's a book I'll never own. It's somewhere in the 5 million plus range, I believe, is what the amount of the book now. It's up there with Detective 27.
I'll settle for a
which is,
page, man.
Yeah, I showed you the CGC slabbed a #1 for Action Comics, and it actually sold just the #1, a little square, sold for $7,000 plus.
No freaking
What?
way.
So if you guys are interested in comic books, they're a great investment. It's always a good time to buy. Always buy first appearances. Cameos are always a good thing. There's a big debate over which is Wolverine's first appearance. Is it Incredible Hulk 180 or 181? He cameos in 180, but everybody says his official debut is 181. But CGC will mark 180 as Wolverine's first appearance. So it's a debatable thing.
Well, let me ask you that. I mean, what's your take on that? Because I'm a big fan of Wolverine, but again, I don't. What I know about Wolverine is what everybody else knows from the video games, from the movies, and I mean, but I'm a big fan of that. Of his story, his origin story. But what's your take on those particular comic books, 180 and 181?
I think 180 is his first appearance. That's me. People will debate me and tell me no, but
Yeah, but they're not here, so fuck 'em.
yeah, but you know what? It is what it is. It's a cameo appearance, last page. That's where he comes out, and then they're looking for the Wendigo and the Incredible Hulk, and Wolverine thinks that the Incredible Hulk is the Wendigo, and he's out there looking for him, and it ends up being all three of them are out there.
It'd be sick to actually watch that play out in in a Marvel movie.
Yeah,
Wolverine versus the Hulk. Oh my god, dude, that's Marvel versus Capcom right there, like the video games, dude, all over again.
Yeah, and they ended up killing off Wolverine, and then they brought him back, and
was that during the Logan story?
Yeah.
So he does come back.
Yes, he does.
But it's funny because I remember, and this is a cartoons, but I remember there was a one where, well, this has to do with Cable. Cable actually took Wolverine to the future to cure some disease or some shit.
So I won't lie to you guys. I had my collection stolen, or half my collection stolen.
Oh,
No.
And I stopped reading for about 25 years. And just during the pandemic, like a lot of people, just started investing in comic books. So have I been reading a lot of stuff? No. Right now I'm currently reading Silver Surfer by Ron Lim and Ron Mars, because they're my favorite team that put the Silver Surfer comic book together during the 80s. And I read a lot of that during guard duty and stuff like that. So it really got me back into it.
okay.
And I'm also reading the new Ghost Rider. They're bringing back Johnny Blaze. So
Ghost Rider, what are time would it like the actual Ghost Rider like a show, or is Ghost Rider is this
no, it's a new comic book that just came out, a new series.
Okay.
And they're bringing back the original Ghost Rider, which is Johnny Blaze.
That's badass.
And the
Fantastic
first
Four?
issue. No. Oh, you know what? I love the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I like all the old reads. There's just a lot of interesting stuff out there, and a lot of it has to do with the writers are now artists. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of storytelling by artists that are doing books. So you just gotta find something you like and read it.
So Tata, let me ask you something.
Sure.
I'm not very familiar with comics or that stuff.
Same here.
Just the stuff that we see on TV and maybe a few years when we used to watch Marvel and DC.
Yes.
But if I wanted to get into it, how can we buy this stuff? How can we contact you if you sell this stuff?
So I do sell comic books. That's one of the things that I do. And then
You do?
yeah, because everybody has to do.
Everybody. Not me though.
Oh, so,
Perdón.
es el pupú. So you can pick up stuff at your local comic shop that they also refer to as the LCS. If you want to read books, look at something that interests you, and then pick it up and read it. If you're grabbed within the first couple of pages, which most comic book stores don't mind if you browse through the books, pick it up and read it. I mean, it might be something that you're going to find is going to connect to another comic book and then take you off into another book. And then pretty soon it's more than just the MCU.
So what got you yourself into comic books?
When I was really little, my cousins collected comic books. And my father never let us read comic books. We weren't allowed to read comics. It was just like school stuff. And the only time I got to do it was when I would go to my cousin's house. And when we go visit for the summer, they would allow us to read certain comic books. We weren't allowed to read all the comic books. They were a little bit older than us. So my cousins were poor, and they saved all their paper route money, and then they would buy their comic books. And that's how they got into it. But they still have the books that they grew up with way back.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, why would you happen to know why your dad didn't want you guys to be reading comics?
He thought they were a waste of time.
No way.
You always had to go out. If you were going to learn something, it had to be a trade. You had to learn how to be a mechanic. You had to learn how to be a writer. If you were going to write a book, you had to, it was literature. It wasn't anything that was like a comic book. That was a waste of time.
So he had the traditional mindset.
Yeah, my father came from Mexico and he was destitute. My dad ran away from home when he was 12. Got to Chicago in 1952. He was a bracero. He used to bring people over to work, and he worked in the slaughterhouse. And they moved him up to killing and slaughtering animals, and then from there he became a meat cutter.
So a butcher.
A butcher, yeah.
That was trip though, because we actually had a few conversations about that, and your dad was a badass dude.
Yeah, my dad used to like to fight and stuff.
He's a tough guy. I mean, he was. You want to talk? If you want to talk a little bit about it, but they were telling me your dad got stories.
Yeah,
like he wouldn't back down from anybody.
Nope, my dad would fight. It didn't matter if we got into a fight and we lost. My dad would take us to the neighbor's house, and we'd have to fight the kid. But if we lost, we got our ass beat. If we beat the kid up too much, then my dad beat our ass anyway. So I didn't like to fight. Because one's enough, right?
Yeah, no,
So
definitely.
It's a delicate balance.
But it's
I don't like, even to this day, I really don't like conflict. Even though it seems like I like conflict, I don't. I try to always resolve everything through talking to people.
And that's always been a good quality about you. And one of the things I appreciate, you're actually always blunt, dude. Always to the point. Never fucking. You're not trying to please anybody. You put your point out, and it's respected, and you make sure you respect others as well. I just love that about your brother.
Thanks.
But back to comics, man. Here's the thing: what's your take on the whole Marvel Universe storyline? Because I mean, it's a big freaking deal. Obviously, or else wouldn't be making the money it's making now.
Sure.
But from based on some of our conversations that we've had before, the Marvel's not following the storyline as it should be.
No. So Marvel went and rewrote some of the storyline.
Okay.
So Infinity Gauntlet was done by Jim Starlin, and Jorge Perez was the artist for the original books. Then Silver Surfer was done by Ron Lim and Ron Mars. That was the team for that book. And then they made it a big, giant story. When I own the original books, they're still out there. They're easy to grab. They're a great read. But some of the books brought in new characters or rewrote characters. I don't know the exact teams that did stuff, but I know there was like Tyler Kirkham was out there doing some of the artwork, Donnie Cates, and he was also writing. And some of the characters that were main characters that fought Thanos was Adam Warlock. But Adam Warlock is not coming into the MCU till right now, right? He's the next phase.
End credits of the Eternals.
Yes,
right?
And the beginning of the new Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe, is where they're going to bring Adam Warlock in.
Holy hell.
Yeah,
And that's Adam Warlock, he's, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he related to Thanos?
No,
Who's related to Thanos?
no, that's
Nebula.
No.
There's another one.
His brother.
Yeah, he was his
Oh,
brother.
Star Fox.
Star Fox. There we go.
Eros. Yeah.
I was close.
So in the 80s, in the 80s, and I don't know when it changed, but Eros used to always go around having sex with women because he'd talk him into it. He'd walk into a bar and he'd just like pick up women and just tell them like, hey, we're going to have sex. And it'd be like, oh, we're going to have sex. And he'd be like, all right.
Cuidado.
That's his power, right?
Cuidado if Adrian overheard. Vamos pues. Okay, let's go.
Anytime.
Por favor, no me hagas así.
Hey, so what about Captain Marvel? Because now she is portrayed as a woman. Wasn't Captain Marvel originally a man?
Yes, Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah. And he ends up dying, and Carol Danvers ends up with the power. And then, oh my God, what's her name? Monica Rambeau. She becomes Captain Marvel, and she also leads the Avengers for a while, believe it or not.
Oh,
So in the comic books.
Well-
And then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because I grew up on cartoons.
Okay.
So in the cartoons, Rogue gets her powers by stealing them from Captain Marvel. Am I right?
That's the 90s animated series, right?
Yeah,
Is that where you saw it?
yeah. It's been a while.
So Rogue in the comic books, oh my God, what's her name? Polaris absorbs, oh my God, who did she absorb? She absorbs somebody, and I'm trying to think.
Take your time, bro. It's digital. We're good.
No, I can't remember how it went. It actually went in the Savage Land.
I was surprised. It's the first time I got you with something.
Yeah, well, it's
He-
kind
he
of
always-
hard. There's a lot of storyline out there.
I know, but I'm tripping the fuck out because you always have the answer. So this is new to me.
It's new to
Dude.
both of us, I guess.
Hey,
You just never see me when I'm stumped and I have to go like
Go for the challenge.
start processing stuff. Ya me dijiste la madre, man. Ya deja de hacerme así.
this is
No me
where Chino,
gusta.
this is where Chino and Ahmed, you guys
He
didn't
just
show
had
up and you
a-
missed it.
He just had a senior moment.
That's right. Oh, shoot, man.
Bueno, la idea es esa, though. No,
I'm trying to think.
no, digo, pero la idea es esa. Because that's how I remembered it, that she stole the powers. Because obviously her ability is to actually steal the abilities from other
Yeah,
characters.
she absorbs you. She absorbs you.
Now, is it a temporary thing or is it?
Yes.
Okay, now, because in the cartoons, when I remembered it, she stole the powers off somebody. I thought it was Captain Marvel. She stole the powers off her. But it was a permanent thing, though. Because obviously after that, she can fly and all that good stuff.
No, she can steal your powers, and she can steal your memories.
Okay.
It's like essentially she becomes you.
Yeah.
And then it dissipates over time. That's why she doesn't like to kiss Remy
Yeah.
Gambit.
Oh,
Because when she absorbs them,
Yeah.
she does have the potential to wipe them out, though. That's the thing. She can permanently eliminate you.
And that's a character that Marvel kind of fucked up on because
Excuse me.
they didn't make more of it. And I mean, they had such a good character, and this guy was, I forgot what the hell this guy's name was playing him. But on the X-Men or Wolverine Origins, I believe it was, where he came out.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But they had the actor, they had the character. I mean, everything was set up for him to they could have easily just done another movie on that guy.
They were
Gambit.
supposed to, right?
Yeah,
They were supposed to.
there's supposed to be like a Gambit, from what I understand. There, a lot of it has to do with the rights for Marvel.
Yeah.
Because depending on which company owns what characters. So a lot of years ago, early in the 90s, I had a buddy who who owned and worked at a bookstore.
Yeah.
And I went to a breakfast with Stan Lee at the Roosevelt
Get
Hotel.
out of here.
So, and this is where Stan Lee was talking about they were trying to do a live action Thor, and they were trying to do they were going to sell off some of the rights to Sony, and then Fox was going to get some, and Disney was going to get some, and everybody in the room, but everybody in the room was kind of like, how are they going to make a live action Thor? It's probably going to suck because they had just made Captain America, and I don't know if you saw the '90s Captain America, which was absolutely horrible. It was just
because you didn't have CGI and all that good stuff. So obviously, but I think I vaguely remember something like that. I do remember Lou Ferrigno on the Hulk though.
Oh, that was an awesome TV show,
dude. I don't know, man. That was a good show to watch. But then you had the Power Rangers come up and stole a little thunder.
I'm not a Power Ranger fan by any means.
Get out.
It's
I used to be the White Ranger.
You're more like the Coffee Ranger. But
I will stay out of this one, dude, because van a volar los chingadazos. I'll stay right here.
no, but you know what? Cuando yo era chamaco, me gustaba ver Ultraman.
Hey, that was dope, dude.
That was the best fucking show ever. Sorry for the cussing.
No, está bien.
That was, I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And parecía como que le robaron. You know what I mean? And I didn't like it with all the monsters and everything. They were nowhere near as awesome as Ultraman live action TV show.
I don't know, bro. El cochinito, that was the first one que se chingaron los Power Rangers. Está cabrón. Me dio miedo. It's funny because my mom used to give me shit about that when she's like, ¿hiciste la tarea? Ya, ma, ya. Órale, pues. Ya, start watching Power Rangers. Apaga esa chingadera. Salen puros demonios ahí. Pero, ahí tirándole pinche bendiciones a la pinche tele. Parece.
Hey, para que veas, my cousin, I liked Ghost Rider as a kid. And it used to scare me to read it. And he gave me the entire Ghost Rider collection. Right? So he owned everything, including the Spotlight comics, and he gave them to me. And I came home from vacation, and I put them in my shelf, and my mom walked into the room, and she goes, ¿Qué es eso? And I said, oh, my cousin gave them to me. And she said, saca ese demonio de aquí. And she took them all, and she threw them in the trash.
No way.
Yes.
As soon as I found out how much they're worth now, I would have never let her forget it, bro.
Oh, no, I tell her. I still tell her. My mom's 95, and I still tell her.
we could have had millions.
No, it would have been a good amount of money, but I would have never have sold my comic books. I loved my comic books. Right?
Viejo, tell me about the collection. You have 4 Wolverines.
Yes. Wolverine number 1 through 4.
Sopatelas. And how much is that shit worth? And your address, please.
So
just want to make sure they're safe. That's
I bought them for $5,000.
Jeez.
And I was offered $27,000 for them.
Dude.
And then an auction house, which is Heritage Auctions, offered to sell them for me and guaranteed me a minimum of $20,000.
Jesus, dude.
For the 4 books. But mine are autographed by Jim Shooter, John Romita Sr., Chris Claremont, Frank Miller, and there's one other signature. I forgot which other signature I have on there.
If you want, I'll sign it too, bro. You never know.
No, I don't need that one. You had nothing to do with that book. But they're on the CGC census, as I've looked for them, I have not found all 4 books autographed with all those autographs on there. There's some that have more autographs than mine, but it's usually like the first one, the first issue.
Okay.
Or maybe the first and second issue, but the rest, like issue 3 and 4, don't have anything on them.
So I just thought of a question that maybe our listeners are thinking about too.
All 3 of them?
Yeah. So how do you know when to buy these comics?
So first off, you should always buy what you like. That will make you happy.
Definitely.
So you should always look for first appearances are very key issues, right? So comic books have keys: first appearances, deaths, name changes, anything like that. First appearance on a cover, second appearance on a cover. So, for example, nowadays comic books, everybody always wants the first appearance in a number one, right?
Yeah.
So, golden age comic books, I can't afford them. 50, 60, 100,000, million, 2 million,
What?
5 million, right? So I can never afford anything like that. So now what I'm looking for as a collector, I'm looking for the second appearance or
Yeah.
maybe the third appearance, right? So that's where I'm going with, excuse me, my Zatanna collection. So I need a Hawkman number 4, which is Zatanna's first appearance.
So if anybody knows about any of that, I mean, call us. Let us know.
Well, it needs to be a good price. I have one that I may buy. It's an 8.5.
How much?
They're asking 7,000. So
We're taking donations too. If
Oh,
anybody's
yeah.
interested.
yeah, anybody wants to
Go fund me.
Go fund me. We'll start that as soon as possible.
Now, for those of us as well, like that don't really are not familiar with the whole comic book industry, right? Like you're talking about grading, right? Grade. Like, so how does that work? Like,
So grading is, excuse me, grading has to do with the condition of the comic book. How much rust is on it, how yellow it is, how white it is. Does the cover literally have like poop on it, food, stains that you can't take off? Has the comic book been restored? And it's a 10-point scale. So essentially it goes from NR for no rating all the way to 10.
Yeah.
10 being the most expensive books that you're going to be purchasing out there. I've only got one 9.9. I sold my other one. I had a Joker Villain of the Year that I sold. I bought it for $4. I sent it in to get graded. Came back. I sold it for $700. So because it was a 9.9, and it was the only one on the census at the time. So there might be a 10 out there that's, when you start getting into 9.9 and 10s, you can essentially ask for what you want.
$700 for a comic.
yeah.
God damn. You guys hungry? Anybody hungry? Somebody here made $700.
Yep.
Who grades these?
There's a couple companies that are out there. There's CGC, which is the company that started grading professionally. There is CBCS. The owners split up from CGC, and one of them started CBCS. Then there's a company called PGX. They're one. And then there's a new guy in town called EGS, which is Elite Grading Service. I'm using them currently. I like that the owner, his name is Anthony. He is really a tough grader. I sent in some comic books because I wanted to see what they were going to rate them. And he beat me up on the grades, which is fine because I didn't press my comic books. I didn't clean my comic books, and I just sent them in as they were. And that's something else that will increase the value for those of you who don't know that have comic books. There is a way to press your comic book, and there's pressing companies where you can take the wrinkles out of your book and you can fix the spine so that the book looks straight, so that when they place it in these cases, you can get good centering, and it increases the value of your comic book. You could take a comic that's like a 3 or a 4, and you can give it a grade, what's called a grade bump, where you can increase it, maybe half a grade, 3.5. But the difference between a Golden Age 3 and a 3.5 could be thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
So
Now, there's a difference between a professional restoration and amateur restoration.
yes. So, you take a piece of tape and you stick it on there.
Amateur move.
Yeah, pretty much where the tear doesn't line up, they'll consider that like an amateur restoration. But if you start, lining it up perfectly and taking your time and putting a sliver of tape on it, they would consider that like more of a professional restoration.
Okay.
And CGC gives you a purple label for that.
Sir.
There's also a green label, which I don't like green labels. I would rather do what's called cracking the case, take it out, and then send the book to somebody else like CBCS or EGS that does signature verification, because usually that's what it is that they'll look at the comic book and they'll say there's something written on it and it was signed by the artist,
Right.
but since they did not witness the signing, they will only give it a green label. But if you pay money to have the signature verified, just like you do with a baseball or a football or a jersey, you can pay the 10 or 50 or $500 if it's like Stanley or something like that, where it's a rare signature or a Jack Kirby and they can authenticate it, then they'll put a gold label on it. These
Nice.
companies will, and they'll verify the signature. They'll say, yes, this signature was authenticated by us. And just so you know, CBCS is, I don't know if they're owned by Beckett or if they bought Beckett.
Beckham?
Beckett.
Oh, Beckett.
Like the card service. Remember the Price Guide, Beckett Price Guide and stuff like that?
Okay.
They're together
Oh,
now.
shoot. Yeah, okay. Those like the cards and all that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they have a history of being able to authenticate signatures, and they now do it for comic books as well.
Well, on the note of comic books, I want to actually bring back to a subject that we're talking about earlier. And my boy here, Pollo, is on into Mexica and Aztecs. So, and you showed me some comics and some artists that actually specialize on that. And
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about that? About more comics inclined more to the Latino culture and all that?
Like Aztec Man. Oh, no, wait. That's from the movie, ¿cómo se llama?
Es Cuauhtémoc, güey.
Eugenio Derbez.
No, you know what?
Pregúntame, cabrón.
There's a lot of Latino artists and writers that are out there. There's the Hernandez brothers. They did Love and Rockets. There's also Javier Hernandez, who does El Muerto. Jesus, there's so many out there. And, you find them in their small press. And when you go to the cons, or you can find them online. Some of these guys have webtoons and stuff like that. But there's so many talented people out there. There really are. It's hard to just start selecting the big names because that's essentially what it is. But there's so many Latinos just working for Marvel. Marvel has a Mexico division. I don't know if you guys know that only has comic book artists that operate in Mexico. They send work down there, and then the comic book artists down there do it, and they're placed on the covers that are here. I mean,
that's dope, dude. That's good to know. There's representation out there.
There is. Before it used to be a little more whitewashed.
Yeah,
but it's not like that anymore. There's work for everybody. There's people that are doing, stuff for in Spain. DC does stuff out there. They do stuff in. I believe they have a Mexico division as well. So there's more representation by these companies.
That's not where Pinche Nacho Libre came from, right?
No.
just wondering.
There's actually a DC multiverse version where Superman is actually an immigrant.
Yes.
Raised by Mexican parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How does that shit
he brown
go?
too?
He's actually brown. That's correct.
De allí salió el super mandilón, güey.
Super mandilón.
El super mandilón. Oh, ¿sabías que Juan Camarena también salía de superhero?
¿El super chile?
El super chile, güey. Super chile. I don't know what a superpower was. I knew he flew. Just not too high and not too far. Porque dame yo. Pero no, Super Chile was one of them. Who else?
El Chapulín Colorado.
El Chapulín Colorado, güey. Y ese no tuvo su cómic, güey. Ese pobrecito me lo discriminó.
He's the Mexican Thor.
Yeah.
Hey, la Chilindrina kicked ass. I don't know.
Todavía, bro.
En el profesor Girafales.
No, esos eran. That's another show in itself, bro. That's something worthy talking about because that show to me was full of innocence and a lot of moral dilemmas, And I just thought it was sad as shit that it was Chavo. Yeah, por ejemplo, ese show, like, dude, no me la posaba de morro, pero ya de adulto ya piensas el Chavo. no tenía papá, no tenía mamá. Torremolo trataba con mierda. Fucking, like, you know what I mean? Todos se aprovechaban de él. Like, that's fucked up, dude. Like, it's a sad shit,
Y
you
el
know?
Kiko dándole chingadazos
Sí, agarrándose los madrazos.
con la paleta.
Sí, güey, o sea, qué ojetes, ¿verdad? Pero, o sea, son shows así que no toman la ligera, pero ya cuando estás grande como que te cae la onda y dices, qué poca, güey. But yeah, Chavo del Ocho was one of them, dude. That tripped me out. It was, no, luego también sacaron de en caricatura, güey. Aunque no era lo mismo, ¿verdad? Pero de todos modos, la historia estaba ahí. Todos los personajes, la historia, lo principal estaba ahí. Pero mis chavos, my kids actually got into it for like 6 months, dude. And they're like, hey, dad, Chavo del Ocho, órale, no, se va. Se los pones, güey. You're like, oh, do you like it, mama? He's like, I like it. What are they saying? I don't know. But I like it. Luego sale mi morro, is like, I don't know what he's saying, but I like the way they're saying it.
Y
Going back to your comment about the Mexica and the Aztecs, it's very interesting to know that there is actually authors out there that are writing about this stuff. Because me, that I'm doing this stuff, I didn't know about this until now, and for sure I'm gonna go start looking for it because that's the stuff that interests me. You know, maybe they talk about Tezcatlipoca, maybe Quetzalcoatl, maybe they can bring some of our old literature in there that was lost a few hundred years ago, and hopefully that way we can reconnect with our culture.
Yeah, at some point, I think I saw on one of your YouTube channels YouTube videos where there was an artist that was he was an author on something that it was Aztec. I forgot what it was, to be honest, dude.
Oh, that was so DC Vertigo relaunched Border Town in 2000 like 16 or 17. I can't remember when it was, to be honest with you. But it had to do with this half white kid comes to Arizona and his father is the god of hell, right? So
Mictlantecutli.
thank you, because I can't pronounce it even on my best day.
Hey, Kimmy?
Mictlantecutli.
Hey, that's why.
En español?
That's why he doesn't say it because
Mictlantecutli.
Yeah, it's hard for me to roll my tongue. It's just
It's hard for me to listen it. But it's called Okay, so tell us about Micantecutli.
Mictlantecutli.
Es lo que dije, güey. A ver, ¿qué dije? ¿Y qué dije?
¿Y cómo se dice?
Repítelo, a ver.
A ver, ¿cómo dijiste tú? ¿Y qué dije yo? No, pero tell us about
no
that.
eran igual. pa' que
Okay,
sepa.
well, the story says that Mictlantecutli is the lord of Mictlan. Mictlan is the place where everybody who dies goes after. It's the afterlife.
Órale. Like
So-
Coco.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. I know Coco.
So Mictlantecutli is the guardian of the Mictlan. He's the lord of Mictlan, and his partner is Mictlantecihuatl. So Cihuatl, it's means woman. So it's woman of Mictlan.
Holy crap. But see, what a trip though. Like it's that's the kind of shit that you really want to see on the comics too, bro. Make some phone calls, man, because we gotta. If they haven't written that shit, we're gonna come up with it.
No,
Here.
the problem ended up being that the comic got canceled because the writer got accused
take care of
of sexually assaulting or sexual harassment or something along those lines. It
Yeah, the
became a big deal. Warner Brothers put a stop to it because they own DC, and it was just bad news for everybody, and they didn't want any problems, so they just canceled the comic.
Jesus, dude.
Mictlantecutli.
Esa mero. Ay, la tenía en la punta. La tenía aquí en los labios. Ya. Ahí va. Mictlantecutli.
Mictlantecutli.
Tecutli. Qué ole. Nah,
Mictlantecutli.
él no sabe, güey. No le das caso. Pero no, dude, that's crazy though. So so Warner Brothers knocked that shit out because of.
Yeah, well, DC did because of the scandal behind it.
Este man no aguanta nada, güey.
Now, would you ever, or have you ever considered like doing your own comic book or writing your own story or anything?
Super Tata, güey. Chule.
Super Tata.
Y le avienta los chupetes a la gente, baboso.
Quiero mi cocol.
Get off my lawn.
Oh, you damn thing. I actually, I was in the film production a few years ago, and I used to, when I was in college over at LACC, I was helping a friend of mine make an independent movie, and I helped a couple of students, and they did a couple independent flicks. And right before Blockbuster went out, one of the guys there got funded by Blockbuster to make a movie, and so we did the production for that. But I was working. I still have a lot of my script. I've been writing a script about I'm kind of holding back because I don't want to throw out my idea. So, but yeah, I've been writing that, and then I've been working on a book for my platoon sergeant and myself, and some of my adventures.
Well, for our younger listeners, Blockbusters, we used to actually go into a store, pick out VHSs and DVDs at some point, and you actually rent them out, take them home, watch them. And if you had a tape, you better rewind that shit. Or you get hit with a fee for never rewinding, for being lazy, and take them back. And you get a 3-day rental, but some way, somehow, you ended up turning that shit in about 2 weeks later, and you basically paid for the video.
And there is one Blockbuster left, right?
No,
Only one.
No way.
I forgot. There's a documentary about it.
Oh, it's
one?
no, it's up the northeast, some shit like that.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. My wife watched it, but I just I glanced from time to time, and I was like, "Well, I can't believe there's still a Blockbuster." I mean, that's cool, but it's the only one left. So you better rewind your damn VHS.
So basically, a video library, pa que somos.
Yeah.
What a trip, though, dude.
It's the pre-Netflix.
What's the library?
that was before
That's a question that I
Audible from Amazon. I used to go to a building and pick up books. Seriously,
what's a book?
If you don't know what a book is, you're lost, cause.
That is the question that I would ask.
Oye, neta, pues aquí, aparte del pollo, Adrian es el pollito de aquí de la familia. So, Adrian, ¿sabes qué es un libro? Lárgate, güey, por favor.
No sé,
salte, vete ya.
Antes usaban lápices, ¿eh?
What is that? I don't know what it is.
Era como un stylus, güey, pero tenía una pinche puntita de graphite. Y bueno, cuando el Tata estaba en su tiempo, era LED. Pero en mi tiempo ya era graphite. Oh, era con lodo.
No lodo, güey. Yodo.
El Tata era con pinche con piedra y martillo, güey, en esos tiempos.
Y era cincel, baboso.
Oh, cincel también. Pero ocupas la pinche. Pero ocupas la piedra también, güey. No, pero que a toda madre, fíjate. Pero sí, that was the thing to do, man. Cuando te llevaban al pinche Blockbuster, dude, y estabas, puta madre, the possibilities, bro.
Yeah, remember, the walls were just covered.
Y luego, no, güey, lo chingón. Used to go y decían, ya sabías que iban a hacer 3 pinches películas. Porque estaba el 345, que era 345 en aquel tiempo, ¿no? Eran 3 películas y tú ya sabías cuál ibas a agarrar. Cuidado, y tu papá quería agarrar otra. No, ¿sabes qué? Quiero ver la de Rambo y quiero ver la Van Damme. Les dejo una y peleate con tu carnala, güey, a ver quién va a agarrar cuál. No, hombre, ese pinche. Oye, el cuartito de atrás, güey.
¿Cuál cuartito?
No sé, me dicen que era un closet que no entrara, pero decía.
You know what? I think
Dice 18 and over, nomás era yo solito.
¿Cuál que decía adults only?
No, decía 18 and over, pero como iba solo, no entraba.
I think I was like 4 or 5 years old when I last time been to a Blockbuster. Like, I was like very little when I actually went.
Que hace traumado, güey.
And I do remember something in the back. Con una cortina. I was like, where is that? We go in there, you know?
That's where they had all the late returns.
That's not what I saw.
Ya ves, por eso tu generación está bien traumada, güey, de veras. Nosotros ni nada de eso, ¿qué? For us, like, to take a sneak peek of anything, you'd have to fucking put, like, pinche entre canales, HBO Cinemax, and maybe between all that freaking,
Oh, yeah.
you'd see a boo or something. You're like, oh, wait, no, no. Nah, güey, pero ahora no, ahora todos
Be
están.
up there and over to the right.
It's like, oh, that was a boob, that was a boob. Pero ahora no, güey, ahora fucking everything's online, cabrón. Like, fucking te encuentras de todo en línea. Yo no sé, ¿verdad? Me han contado. Pero encuentras de todo en línea, güey. O sea, ya no hay nada, ya no hay como. Antes era tu imaginación, viejo. You don't. Ahora no, fucking kids. Dude, everything's on fucking line. It's crazy. It's crazy and scary because we talked about this. Like kids, that's why a lot of corruption, bro. Like a lot of kids are mentally corrupted because everything's so easily available.
Yeah.
You know?
That's technology, right? That's the duality of it.
Yeah.
You know, the internet's invented to do research and advance
Right.
medical science and stuff, and next thing some dude throws up a porn video, and now it's porn heaven.
It's corrupted. That's it.
You know-
we took something that was supposed to be so helpful and great for you know for like you say for research and for learning more, and we corrupted the shit out of it.
And you know, it's very scary now because now through YouTube videos, they can actually tell kids to kill themselves. I don't know if you heard about those stories. You know, they put in between videos of whatever they're watching and they ask them to do stuff that they're not supposed to do.
No, what was it that a pinche? ¿Cómo se llama el pinche? The one with the pencil, pinche Charlie.
No, I'm talking about messages that actually tell you,
Cállate.
kill your mom, kill your dad.
Do you have to subscribe for that shit? Or?
No, they're actually,
I'm just
you're watching Peppa Pig.
No me chingues.
Yeah, and then in between the video of Peppa Pig, this video comes out and it tells the kids to kill their parents or to kill themselves.
I never liked that freaking cartoon. I'm not gonna lie.
So that's why they say you should watch those stuff with your kids because they could be watching something else.
Oye, güey, ¿no será por eso que mi mamá me decía no mires los pinches Power Rangers? Digo, ¿no? ¿No será?
Ponía esos calzones, güey.
No, güey, es que cuando le empezaba a tirar besitos a Tommy, ya dijo, ya hasta aquí, ya no más. Pero, no, hijo, fíjate, I didn't know that shit, dude.
Yeah.
No, man. I'm gonna start having to watch the episodes of Peppa Pig with my 15-year-old.
This stuff actually came out in the news because there were some.
I saw the blue whale shit, dude.
That's one.
The blue whale, that was a trip. And then actually, we talked about the kids. We talked to the kids about that shit.
I don't know what the blue whale is.
Okay, so the blue whale thing is basically I don't have the freaking facts about it, bro. But I remember we talked to the kids about it because apparently the blue whale thing turned out to be something that would like messages that would tell the kids to hurt themselves.
Oh yeah, actually, I think I heard of that. Yep.
Okay.
Something similar to, yep. I think that they'll watch and algo así, pues sí, like they will. A message will tell them to do something.
It's basically what I said right now, but
So wait a minute. So just so I have an understanding. So you're watching the video and then like the video stops and they give you a message and then it continues?
Yeah.
Or is it a subliminal message where they insert the
no,
messages?
it's like straight up messages, like straight out, like up front and messages.
If I remember correctly, the blue whale was actually a message system that will text message younger kids. It will text message them to do challenges at the beginning.
Okay.
And then once they start doing some of the challenges, then they will start to become very strong. Like you gotta cut yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta cut your neighbor. You gotta cut your mom. And kids were killing themselves because these messages were threatening them. We know where you live. We're gonna kill you. You don't do this.
¿Te imaginas, güey? No, viejo, por eso te digo. I don't watch TV. I don't watch YouTube. Nada. No, viejo, but it's a scary shit though when that shit came out. We were talking to the kids about that shit.
Me cambiale, güey. Comic books. So,
So, what do you think about this? A comic book about a blue whale? It's got superpowers. Hey, you know what? Here's the trippy one. So,
super well.
no. Actually, so I didn't know, and I don't know if it's a different universe or what, but apparently Superman's son is gay.
He is.
What's up with that? Was that
yeah.
new or was it
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You think it's for hype?
No. I just think it's the way society is moving.
okay?
You know what?
Get more representation. No?
Makes sense.
I think you should, it's my personal opinion. Everybody should respect everybody no matter what.
Of course.
So if that's the direction that they want to take it, it's their character. They can do whatever they want. They can write it the way they want.
Yeah.
You don't have to read it. But is it a collectible? Did the money, increase the sales and the value? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I haven't looked to check on how much the book is being sold for now, but
Yeah.
the last time I saw books were copies, it came out, it sold out. DC had to do a whole second printing on it.
What?
Yeah, and then the copy started selling for like $30-$45 a copy
God damn.
for the first print, and
I
that
mean,
was like
sorry.
within the first week.
Jeez.
Because everybody just went out and bought them. Because why? Again, that's a collectible thing, right? That's
Yeah.
the first,
Because there's also another one that I saw. Because this is I talk to my kids, and then stuff like this comes up, and we just talk about it. Because then my issue was, and it's not even an issue. I mean, like I said, I told my daughter because she has gay friends and she advocates a lot, which is great. More I love that about her. That she stands up for for her believes, her thoughts. She stands up for them. She doesn't hold back. But we're talking about that. She's talking about that there were I guess Marvel was, or somewhere there was the topic came up that that somebody was saying about changing a Spider-Man into being gay. Am I wrong?
I don't. I haven't read that, so I don't
Okay.
know. I'm not going to tell you that I do. I haven't seen. I buy and I collect.
Yeah.
Now I collect covers. So
Okay.
I'm buying stuff for aesthetics and for artists as opposed to what's in the comic book.
Okay. Well, but where I was going with this is just that it's cool that that Marvel and DC is coming up with new characters, and obviously that there's that representation that needs to be made. My only issue was when we had a discussion about it, and I was like, you know what, it's cool that they want to do new characters, new representation, but to take the old characters and change them just to adapt to what people want to see nowadays is just I don't feel like that's not the way to go. But
Well, don't
'cause-
forget, Marvel came out with the first openly gay character,
yeah,
which was North Star back in, was that the late 90s?
yeah,
And he was from Alpha Flight, so, which is the same group that Wolverine essentially came from.
no shit. Well, also there's a Captain America apparently that rescues gay homeless kids.
Yes, that's the new Captain America. There's two of them.
Uh-huh.
They're kids, and they don't. I haven't read the comic book.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten around to reading it. I have bought several issues of
Yeah.
that comic book.
For resale purposes.
No, it's just like I have stuff that I'll eventually get to.
Yeah.
And it's just between work and home life and
Right.
being able to read something. But yeah, there's two new Captain Americas. Like you said, one rides the train and he saves homeless people, and that's my understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how it works. And then there's the other one. I forget what they stand up for, but it's essentially they're standing up for people that are underrepresented and
Yeah.
people that are homeless, and they're trying to do a good thing. So yeah,
And
kudos
that's
to them.
great though, dude. Hell yeah. Just like I said, coming in with new characters and obviously you just you're searching for new markets and all, but most of all representation, because everybody needs kind of representation. There's plenty of groups out there that just feel like maybe left out or whatnot, and that's what this generation is all about, more inclusion.
Yeah.
Which is great. But
Yeah,
And so- Go ahead.
no, I was going to say they're just fighting old ideas is what they're doing, because the older generation, like my generation, I talk to my friends
sir,
and they're totally against it, and I just tell them, hey, you know what? You just let people be people.
right?
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
So
No, but you're always gonna have people that feel strongly about it and whatnot. But like you said, like we said before, you got to respect everybody's opinions and beliefs.
yeah, you just don't have to agree with everything,
Yeah.
which there's nothing wrong with that.
So as of right now, so I know you said that there was like a gap where you stopped collecting comic books, right? So as of right now, what is your collection? Like, how many comic books do you have right now?
I'm back up to a little over 8,000 books.
What?
So
So where do you live?
Again, we just want to make sure they're safe, bro. That's
Yeah,
all.
make sure.
We're
I live over
concerned.
there.
Pinche Tata, 8,000, cabrón.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, how
Do
do
you
have,
read that much?
Huh?
You read that much?
I used to. I used to read. I used to make it a point to read like a 500-page book a week,
Yeah.
and then I would read something like 15 magazines, and then I would read my comics on top of that. So I used to read a lot.
Something tells me you're that guy that you should still read the articles in Playboy.
I used to read the articles in Playboy,
Right?
but you know what? They used to have really good stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
No, they really did. Besides, besides all the models.
What are you thinking about, Ricky?
Sorry, I misread the conversation.
No, it's just they've always had a lot of really good stuff in there. So I mean, you know,
Well, obviously, I mean, if you're gonna before it actually was a lot about the articles. I mean,
Yeah.
it was all about the writing, about lifestyles and whatnot. But, hey, dude, really, who gets? First of all, who the hell buys magazines anymore?
I do because comics comics come in magazine form as well. They come in the oversize. So,
Booyah, Rick.
and you know what? I'm a tactile person, so I like the
Tough.
touch and feel
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
you do.
paper.
honestly.
I'm slapping it from behind.
ya le llegó la hora.
Ya se despertó el Tata. Quiero que sepan. ¿Cuál pinche sueño?
So I like I like the smell of the ink. Nowadays the ink smells changed. So,
But why is that though?
I don't know. I don't know why, but I like to be able to flip the page at my leisure, and then I look at all the panels when I read a comic book, and then I read the comic.
Hey,
I
pero
tell you why the smell of the ink changed.
why?
Because it's cheaper.
Yes.
Because nowadays, for a printer to continue printing, they have to lower their costs. And one of the ways to lower their costs is the ink. The ink is very expensive.
Oh, pues tú eres.
Yes, I work at a printing
Ese es
company.
my boy.
Yeah. And see, now a lot of printing companies are going out of business because nobody wants to read books anymore. Nobody wants to buy magazines anymore. A lot of the magazines that are printed are periodicals or informational for people that grow products for like marijuana or potatoes or things like that.
Yeah. A lot of agriculture.
Yep.
Mostly everything's being converted into digital.
That's right.
We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Dude, it was Tata, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you for all the knowledge, brother. Like I said, you're a great guy to talk to. No como otros. Nah, for real, dude. Antemano, thank you very much, Adrian Boya, for showing up. Adrian, a day late, dollar short, but thank you for coming. Yeah, you should have been here last week. That would ruin the audio. But
Thanks
seriously,
for having me, and hopefully I get to come back again.
By all means, man, we'd love to have you, dude. Seriously, it's always a good conversation with you. On and after the mic, man. I really appreciate it. And guys, thank you for taking the time. And see you guys next Friday. Cool.
All right.
Thanks. Nice to meet you guys.
All right, guys.
Likewise.
Meet you,
We
Tata.
done.
Hasta la vista, baby.